If you played the first inFamous games, you really need to play this one too. In Second Son, Delson Rowe doesn't control electricity like Cole McGrath did, but the character gets to be more fascinating than the first. Delson Rowe, the protagonist, can absorb powers from other conduits by shaking their hands. This makes the game very diverse. You start off with smoke abilities, which are cool looking and useful. Then, after you progress more, you get the neon abilities, that not only look cool, but are the most useful ones, because you have endless running, meaning you can roam at fast speeds and climb buildings very easily. Then you get the digital abilities, that let you spawn angels, glide from one antenna to another, and at the end of the game you get the concrete abilities, that are a nice thing that you have them, but aren't that fun or fascinating to use. The best part of the concrete abilities is the fact that it lets you boost yourself up in the air 3 times before hitting the ground. When it first appeared, the graphics were astonishing, and they remained good looking even now, especially when using abilities. The gameplay is fun, and even though side things are repetitive, it is still fun to play, and by the number of things you get to do, it never gets boring. The city of Seattle you get to free roam is huge and looks really great, especially when you see the reflections everywhere. The combat is nice and fluid, giving you the ability to shoot, throw grenades or rockets with your abilities, or just melee your enemies with your chain. The combat is incredible and very satisfying. It really gives you the feel of power and you feel like an unstoppable force. You will feel badass each time you single-handedly took out a DUP base. You get different types of enemies to fight, each with its own unique thing. One has just the gun, one has a turret, others can use concrete abilities, you get to take down helicopters too, and many more. Story-wise, the game is nice and should keep you interesting. Delson is a really charismatic character that you most probably will feel attached to when playing the game. I like that, like in the previous inFamous games, you can choose if you want to be a good person or a bad one, and your actions have repercussions on the environment and on the story. Also, your actions reflect on the jacket Delson wears. The 2 birds on the back of the protagonist change according to your actions in the game. The exploration is not only very tempting, but rewarding too. You can find blast shards, which you can use in the menu to upgrade your abilities. Also, the minimap is well done and lets you find what you need. There are a lot of side activities to do in order to lower the DUP control in the region. Lowering the control makes the game so much easier, because there aren't as many soldiers anymore to shoot at you. And cleaning the area is also fun too. Also, while roaming this city, the fluidity of your movements will give you a satisfying feel. It is a joy to explore the surroundings. Even though activities tend to get repetitive, they are diverse, so for me the game didn't feel repetitive. It was actually quite fun to do the side missions. I definitely recommend you the game. In my opinion, First Light should not be considered a game, because when playing it, it feels like a DLC from its debut to the end. I also hate the fact that it has the same price tag as Second Son, and the two are incomparable. Second Son is superior in almost any way. In my country, for example, Romania, Second Son and First Light have the same price tag, both costing 99 lei. If in your country it is the same, just go for Second Son. First Light is just not worth the money. I mean, Second Son offers you 15 hours of gameplay, and if you play both the good and the bad karma parts, it adds up to 30 hours of actually fun and diverse gameplay, while First Light offers you 4 hours of almost boredom. In Second Son you had 3 abilities, and at the end of the game you get your 4th, Concrete. In First Light you have just Neon. The producers added a few new abilities and moves and tricks for Fetch to use, but I am aware that the character Fetch can only use Neon, but still, considering the final product, it feels like they just added a new character model and stripped it from the original game and cut off the other abilities and created a new game. Gameplay wise, I mean, not as the story and the other hard work they had to put in. I mean, even though they added new moves to Fetch, after playing Second Son, the game feels incomplete, or too short, or just that it's inferior to the other one, and it feels just like a DLC, not like a game. And you don't feel satisfied. The story, for me, was weak and uninteresting. And remember the repetitive side activities I told you in Second Son, that even though repetitive, are actually a joy to complete. Well, in First Light, they are just repetitive and boring. They give you no satisfaction. At least you have free roam in this one too. The same city, Seattle, and new locations too, like Curden Cay and its surroundings. If I will judge the game objectively, not looking at its price tag and not knowing about the existence of Second Son, it's a pretty good to okay game. What we've got in Second Son and what we have here, First Light is just not worth it.